You could almost feel the stillness that morning, the kind of silence that only comes after a promise has waited a lifetime to bloom. Abraham was 100 years old now. Sarah, long past her childbearing years. And yet, God had said it would happen, that they would hold a son. And that morning, the laughter of a newborn broke the silence of decades. The Lord kept his word. Sarah gave birth to a son. Abraham held the tiny child in his trembling hands and named him Isaac, which means laughter, because that's exactly what filled their home, laughter. Sarah laughed at the miracle, and she said, "God has made me to laugh, and everyone who hears will laugh with me." After all, who would have thought? An old woman nursing her first child, a centenarian father rocking a newborn. It was impossible. And yet, here he was, a living, breathing reminder that God keeps his promises, no matter how long they take. Time moved on. Isaac grew. Abraham held a great feast when the boy was weaned, a day of joy, dancing, and celebration. But even in moments of joy, the human heart has its shadows. Sarah noticed something. Ishmael, the son of Hagar the Egyptian, mocking young Isaac. Old wounds stirred again. The tension between promise and the past came rushing back. With firmness and maybe a touch of pain, Sarah said to Abraham, "Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for he shall not share in the inheritance with my son Isaac." It broke Abraham's heart. Ishmael was still his son. But God spoke gently to him. "Do not be grieved because of the boy or the bondwoman. Do as Sarah says, for through Isaac shall your offspring be named. But I will also make a nation of Ishmael, because he is your son too." The next morning, before the sun rose, Abraham placed bread and a skin of water on Hagar's shoulder. He looked at her, perhaps with tears he couldn't show, and sent her and Ishmael away. They wandered into the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water was gone and the heat became unbearable, Hagar could no longer watch her child suffer. She laid Ishmael under a shrub and walked a little distance away, whispering through tears, "I can't watch my child die." And she wept. But heaven heard. God heard the cry of the boy. And an angel called to Hagar, "What troubles you, Hagar? Fear not. God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Lift him up, for I will make him a great nation." Suddenly, her eyes were opened. In the dry desert, a well shimmered in the light. She rushed to fill the water skin and held it to her son's lips. From that day, God was with the boy. Ishmael grew up in the wilderness strong, skilled with a bow, a survivor. And when he became a man, Hagar found him a wife from Egypt. Time passed. Abraham's story turned again toward peace. Abimelech, a nearby ruler, came with his general Phicol. He said, "God is with you in everything you do. Let's make a covenant of peace that you'll deal kindly with me, as I have with you." Abraham agreed. But there was a dispute. A well Abraham had dug had been seized by Abimelech's servants. They settled it with an offering, 7 ewe lambs, a symbol of truth, a witness that the well belonged to Abraham. They named that place Beersheba, meaning the well of the oath. Later that night, Abraham planted a grove there and called on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And under the vast sky of the Philistine land, the promise still echoed. Even through waiting, loss, and tears, God keeps his words. When Sarah laughed, it was joy after years of doubt. When Hagar wept, it was pain turned to hope. 2 mothers, 2 sons, both seen by God. And through it all, Abraham learned that faith isn't just believing in the promise, it's trusting the promiser. Abraham's faith reminds us, even when the promise feels distant, the promiser never fails. And the same God who kept his word to Abraham still keeps his word today. If this story moved you, Like, share, and subscribe to see more powerful Bible stories brought to life. Join us each week as we uncover the forgotten moments of faith that shaped the world.